Hello and welcome back to Circle of Sisters Table Talk Podcast. We are here today with a wonderful topic. I am Sacred Woman Practitioner Sherry Unk, here alongside my beautiful sister.
Chantel Sierra Shakim. I am your holistic self care coach. We are here for our Circle of Sisters Table Talk. This is the podcast where we are soul sisters speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. We are so super excited to share this information with you today as we dive into the principle we call ladies in waiting or fortifying your friendships. So, this is a wonderful opportunity to dive into all information concerning friends or sisters, as we call them.
All right, in today's discussion, we're going to talk about new friends, old friends, and those that fall somewhere in between. Okay.
Yes,
This
yes.
is so when we talk about fortifying our lives and our lifestyles, one of the things that we take for granted is those relationships that are near and dear, our inner circle, right? Those people that are around us really have the power to energetically shift the direction of our lives, especially if we're not conscious about those relationships. Most importantly for women is our girlfriends, our sister friends, our sisters, okay? And
Our
today,
good girlfriends, good
our
girlfriends.
our good
Look,
girlfriends, exactly. And today, as we talk about fortifying friendships, we're going to talk about what that actually looks like, how you can implement some things within your life in order to strengthen those bonds that you've made. Um, Fortifying friendships is not only about strengthening the bonds that you've made, but really understanding which friendships or relationships may have met their expiration date. Some people are in your life for a reason, and some, unfortunately, just a season. And so we're going to deep dive into that today, sis.
yes, yes. So as we look back over our lives, friendships and sisterhood is something that is very instrumental in a woman's life, right? Most of us, even if we find ourselves to be introverts, we need that sisterhood. We need that one person or those few people that we can truly show up being ourselves with, show up in our worst
Truly.
places and in our best places
Hmm.
and begin to see how that cultivates us. I mean, I remember growing up, as a young girl, it was important to have friends. It was important to be liked. It was important to have people around you who affirmed who you were. And it doesn't stop when we're children, right? We began to expand on those relationships based on who we are becoming. And more times than not, those relationships also help form us into who we are. So I think this fortifying our friendships and understanding how we do that by still honoring ourselves in showing up in our true authentic self is so important as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when we think about fortifying our friendships, the first thing that comes to mind that we should really pay close attention to is when we met those friends, or what point of our lives or our journey we were at when we met those friends. Oftentimes, we will find that those relationships really mirror who we were at the time that we started those friendships. And oftentimes, it's very hard as you learn and grow for those friendships to grow with you if you aren't doing the same level of work, if you aren't putting in the same level of time. It tends to create a gap or a space within those friendships when you're not able to grow into the next version of yourself together.
So with that, I am reminded of a call and a friendship that in my adult life where I had this really really good girlfriend, sister friend who we were like going through life together, helping balance each other out. Our foundation in how we met was in the church, right? So our relationship built around our connection with our church and our mindset and the way that we were moving in our relationship with God, and not only with God, with each other. So I remember how detrimental that was to our relationship when I heard from God to say, leave the church. Oh my God, did it rock my world, right? It rocked my world because now not only did I have to leave the church, a lot of the friendships that I had that were very near and dear to my heart were also like relationships that I left, or that kind of we went our separate ways. And I'm like, wow, was it so much that were they really my friends? Is really what I was questioning, which I knew they were, but it was just in the moment of it. How can you be my friend, but just because I'm not going to church, now we don't have things to talk about, or we feel that our ideas are different and it separates us, when in fact it really didn't separate us. It just allowed us room to begin to work with ourselves. And that's what happens sometimes when you lose those really, really close friendships. It begins to have you self-examine. So even in that, it was a good thing, because it began allow me to see how I was showing up and how important those characters or those traits that I had developed in those relationships fortified me as a person. And truly, was that who I was?
Absolutely. And when you talk about leaving the church, and separating that, which was a strong part of your friendship, um, how that shifted the friendship, because now it's like, how do we connect? What things do we agree on? I experienced the same thing, in relation to the church, but even prior to that, I felt a shift happening with my friendships when I became a mother. I became a mother later in life than many of my friends who had children, and I still had a very close knit circle who were all non mothers. They weren't parents at the time. And so I had my oldest daughter during the time where my friends who had children, their children were already in their teens or in middle school. And then my other friends who didn't have children, they weren't even thinking on the child, train. They were out clubbing, having fun. And so I found myself in a very awkward and vulnerable position because I was in a space of life that none of those who were closest around me were in. And so it did take me to go inward and really start reflecting on who I was and how I showed up. One of the things that I noticed in the separation, and this is why it's a really good a good opportunity when you are having a shift in lifestyle or in your life that kind of pushes the friendships, I would say, to the back burner for a second when you have to focus on self. You could tend to understand some of the things that you did that maybe weren't completely 100% in alignment or in authentic alignment with who you are. During that time of my separation from my friends, when I was really trying to figure things out, I realized that I was a people pleaser, and that I would go to things and participate in stuff that really didn't really suit me, things that I weren't really interested in, but that's what my friends were doing. And so to not be the party pooper, to not be, so uppity or any of the things, I would participate in stuff that I was kind of over. I was over the club scene for years before being a parent, but I was still doing that, hanging out. I was over a lot of things. And so being put into a separation space from my friends really allowed me to honestly, truly honor myself and say, you know what? I'm not so interested in clubbing anymore. This isn't the things that I desire to do. Let me put myself in alignment with where I do desire for my future to go and the things that I am interested in partaking in. And unfortunately, sometimes that did cause shifts and rifts within my friendship group, because when you start to change, it is very, very hard for those around you, because then they start looking inward. oh, was I not good enough? Or were the things that we were doing so beneath you that now you don't want to do it anymore? And so this is where the conversations, the difficult conversations within the friendship needs to happen and needs to take place, because your growth could look very different to those around you. It could look like you're diminishing, the things that you have built your friendship upon. And so that's where I think the real tough work starts. What would you say, sis?
Yes, yes, that is where the fortification begins, right? Because it's like we are not, our friends are truly a reflection of the space we are in at that time, right? Because we attract the things that we are. And so as we begin to fortify ourselves in discovering who we are, we still have to stay to the motto of me first, then you. Right? As one of our sacred sisters who's on the line checked in, thank you, Chiquita Long, for tapping into our Zoom. You really inspired me when you said it, our rites of passion, our rites of passage, me first, then you, or something along those lines that really stuck to me because if not me, then who? That's what it was. If not me, then who? So we have to begin to set the tone for the types of relationships and the types of people we want in our inner circle. So even though those friends who may not be resonating with your new truth, um, are no longer resonating with your new truth, can't be within your close circle, but they do become the ladies in waiting because they there and they watching and they looking and they like, okay, what is this that she's doing and how is that going to work for her? Because you have already created a bond with that person. So even those friends who we were once connected to, they are our divine reflections, right? And we are so theirs. So as we continue to stay in our truth and begin to work through the things that make us different, it still inspires that sister, that friend, to really go in and find out what inspires them and how they can continue to grow and fortify not only their friendships, but their relationship with their self. Because, like you said, in a lot of our friendships, if we're not secure in ourselves, and women in general, we become those ones who want to please other people instead of looking at how we need to show up to please ourselves. So, fortifying your relationship starts with doing the things you know to do and following your own intuition and insight to bring you to another level, and to know that on that other side you're going to gain new friendships, you're going to gain new sisters that will help you grow. And that's what these relationships are all supposed to be about anyway, to help us grow, to help us see ourselves clearly, because sometimes we don't see it looking in the mirror. We have to see it in someone else. And that inspires us. That helps us know and kind of be able to move our compass in the direction that we're to go.
Absolutely. One of the things that really made me start to look closely at my friendships and really start to invite new energy into my inner circle was I was working with a business consultant, and throughout throughout our meetings, she sat down with me and she told me, and I'll never forget this quote. She told me that I need to find friends who make me Google what they said.
Ooh.
And when she said that, it hit me, because in the context of that conversation, we were talking about how you have to have friends that will push you and pull you to the next level. And this consultant was actually my cousin, so she's known me my whole life. And she was telling me that she doesn't think that I have friends at the time that stretched me beyond
Mm.
where I was. And so she said, and I quote, "You need to get friends that make you Google what they said." And I already know that I'm a highly intelligent person, but I had to look at what she was telling me. And at first thought, I was like a little irritated, like, well, what you trying to say? Like, what you trying to say? But I really had to set with what she was saying. And within my friend group, there wasn't anyone at the time that would really push me or pull me to the next level. I was that link for the group or the circle, so to speak. And so when I felt stagnant, it kind of made us all stagnant because I'm not growing, I'm not going anywhere. And a lot of us find ourselves in that position within our group or our inner circle where we are, and I don't like to say leader, but we are the one who's really pushing for everyone to get to the next level, to go to the next level, to do the next thing, to, you know, learn and grow. And if we don't have people in our inner circle that we can aspire to, that we can look up to, that we esteem, it does really weaken our foundation because we need to be able to aspire to something. And so when she told me you need to have friends that make you Google what they said, I really took that to heart, and I was like, damn, she's right. And so going on this spiritual journey, the first thing that I did was welcome in new energy, welcome in new friends. I said prayers, affirmations, just calling in those people that would help strengthen and fortify the areas that I was working on. I was really big into self development. And so it aligned me in the path of the friends that would help me to grow to the person that you see today. That's not saying that those original friends aren't necessary. They're extremely necessary, really, to keep you humble, to keep you grounded, to remind you of where you've been, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in order for you to grow and expand, you have to have something or someone in your inner circle that you're looking to. And when you are fortifying your friendships, you really want to have a whole picture of what your reality looks like. And you can't just be stuck in the past of where you were. You need some people there to show you the direction that you're going, to lighten your path along your journey. And so, inviting in new friends, that is one of the ways that you can really fortify your friendships and fortify that group of ladies that are in waiting, because now there's someone else for you all to look up to. There's someone else to help to strengthen and grow you in certain areas where you may not even been aware that you need some growth.
That's true. That's true. You hit on a couple of points that made me reflect to you're only going to be as good as your five closest friends. That's one thing that came up. So if you are looking at your five closest friends and they don't inspire you for more, then maybe you need to get new friends. And it's not to say to leave the old friends behind, like you mentioned, but to really begin to grow and expand you, you have to expand your connection to the people out there that can inspire you. So this is what this principle is all about, and really knowing which relationships and which friendships that support you in your growth and allow you to see yourself in ways that you may not have seen yourself before. Like you were saying, sometimes we see ourselves as, okay, I'm the leader of the pack, but who's leading me, right? I read something before about we all. Oh, it was from my Dr. Makosi. She just posted on Facebook about how, we have as mentors, as leaders, as guides, we have to have people mentoring us too and leading us and guiding us, because everybody needs somebody. That's what it's all about. And you need those bodies that are helping you be the best body you can be. Whether it's what did they say, my body goal model, right? Like, I'm always about that. I aspire to be like her. I aspire to be like him, or I aspire to have those qualities or those values. So let me sit at their feet. Let me begin to pour out where I need to grow, so that someone else can refill my cup. And that's where you fortify yourself, because you have to have those places where you can see yourself, see your junk too, see where you fall short, see where you are not being the best that you can be, and being able to be vulnerable with someone. So, this Circle of Sister podcast is that space. We are doing the work right alongside of you, and we are welcoming you into the inner circle because we all need those friends. That motto, no new friends, that keeps you stuck. That
Mhm.
keeps you right where you are. No new friends will not allow you to be better than what you are and better than what that group of friends have to offer you. So, not to say that no new friends means, oh, I'm only gonna stick to these friends, but no new friends that gonna keep me stuck. How about that? No new friends that are gonna keep me on a path where I see greater, but I'm gonna just stay in this
Because it's
circle,
comfortable.
in this comfortable spot. So
Mm-hmm.
we, in order to grow, you have to become uncomfortable. And the first step may be stepping out of your comfort zone with your friends, being vulnerable with someone, being open to the connections and the people that come into your path. One thing that I also have seen is that people are attracted to you for a reason. So when you meet someone in the street, in the grocery store, on a Zoom call, in a Facebook group, that you're like, there's something about her. There's something about her. I don't even know what it is. I need to get to know her. I am so grateful for our Sacred Woman journey and that space that opened up for us to even meet. You know, we
Absolutely.
would never have met if it wasn't for that, right? And then I look at even the other women who I'm so close to now, how when I saw them, I was like, there's something about her. We didn't even have to speak. It was just an energy, right? And each one of those sisters that I have met have really helped to grow me and to expand me and to help me see myself. So being mindful of that energy as you're going throughout your life, someone you work with, and they may be in a different department, but your paths cross, and you're like, there's something about that person. Take the time to just share who you are, because in that space is something for you that will fortify you. And that goes back to, the living in balance, living in my art, living in harmony with the universe, and being aware of how it moves you and how it flows you into different jobs, different professions, different um, areas to meet different people, and not seeing that as, oh, I'm only going in here to work, do this job, and go home. There is something there for you that will help fortify you, and it will be a relationship. It can be a relationship that you have to just make yourself available to. That's part of the fortifying.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you brought up Maya and balance and finding flow. A lot of times we have relationships that are unequally balanced. They're not balanced. Maybe you feel like you're giving more, or the person feel or the friend is giving so much to you that the relationship is out of whack or out of balance. And so, with fortifying the friendship, this is really not only about embracing new friends, but about balancing out the energy within your friend group, making sure that um, you are really finding that balance of reciprocity within the friendship, and also honoring where you are and how you feel. Oftentimes we don't really take into consideration that sometimes relationships have met their expiration date. If you have toxic friends in your friend group, girls that you feel like every time you get on the phone, you're gossiping, you're pushed into a lower vibrational state than what you desire to be. Right? We're not saying anything is bad, but if those relationships are causing you to be in a state that doesn't feel good or feel right to you, that may be times where you need to investigate: is this something that I should be putting this much energy and effort into, or should I allow this friendship to really be in the in a
In
different
the outer
area.
courts. In the outer
In the
court.
outer courts, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of courts, when we talk about the ladies in waiting, I want to just put this in perspective with embracing the queen within. A queen, any royal party, they have what's called the queen's court or queen's consort or the ladies in waiting. Their job, their sole purpose, their sole mission is to really fortify and protect the queen. Yes, they provide her comfort. Yes, they provide her friendship, conversation. Do new experiences with her, but it is a safety circle for the queen so that she can have people to talk to that's not going to end up in the tabloids, so that she can have strong relationships, a safe space, and she actually has some people to buffer and fill her out those people who are trying to come in that may not be so great for her. And I remember I had this conversation with one of my friends, one of my old friends, right? And we were talking about the shift, and she was like, well, you got all these new people, and I didn't really care for her. And I told her, I said, you know what? I appreciate you saying that, but as my friend, as my old friend, that's what you're supposed to be around for. You putting yourself in the background, you're not coming around, you're not doing these things with me. Really, you supposed to be here with me so you could be like, sis, I ain't feeling her. I know you on your love and light stuff, but something about her energy ain't right. And when I told her that, she was like caught off guard, like, oh, I did not know that was how I was supposed to be showing up. And I'm like, yeah, your friends are supposed to not only fortify you, but really fortify you by protecting your space and your energy, especially if they see something that's not in alignment, some energy or dark force coming towards you. And really, when we talk about the history of the ladies in waiting and the queen's consort, that was how they fortified the queen. They were not only a safe and sacred space for her to share and divulge her information to, but they would also put her up on game like, queen, and I heard XYZ about this person. Maybe be careful with what you share with them. Maybe be careful going on this. Or when you go, maybe add this as another layer of protection. And that is what we mean when we say fortifying your friendships. It's understanding that it's not just about the experiences we have together. It's not just about the conversations we have. It's really about being that added layer of protection around our sisters. Because if she don't catch it, I know one of y'all will.
And then it's about, maybe you weren't even aware. So there's a fine line between being gossipy, as you mentioned before, but being really in tune with yourself. So when you are surrounded with women who are in tune with themselves and with the environment and with the energies that come against all of us, we can really speak that truth, and it should resonate as a truth to you. Right? It's not just a matter of, oh, he say, she say. No, it's like, oh, sis, I know this, as we talked about our
Mhm.
senses and our clairs of knowing, and then coming back and say, you know what? I know this is a fact. And you in your own self being able to be like, yeah, I was kind of thinking something might be off, but I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. I was being my rainbows and butterflies, but actually that person was really being sent to distract you or pull you down. So being able to have those types of fortified relationships, um, and as I see our other sister Daisha done popped into the room.
Hey,
Greetings!
sis.
Another one of my beautiful, beautiful sacred sisters who we met during our rites of passage, but who has definitely fortified me and helping me see myself and helping me be me, right? And with no regard to, oh, you can't be yourself, but definitely one to say, sis, now you need to do something different because that is not working, and you know that this isn't what you want, right? So being able to have those sisters and friends who help you be better is what this is all about. So as we dive into what the next part of fortifying looks like, as it relates to self-care. It is really about sitting with yourself, right? Being in those spaces when you find yourself alone and not have any friends. How does that feel to you? How does that feel to you? And what do you do with that time? Are you constantly looking outside of yourself to find something to get involved with? Or can you sit in that space of loneliness and fortify yourself in knowing, okay, what is it that I truly wish to bring into myself? What friends are truly here to really support me in my growth? What friends are truly here to help me? What like you said, calling in those types of friends, friends that are going to help me be my best self, friends who are not going to shrink back when I'm out of line, and they can stand up to me and say, girl, no. Or friends that are going to go along with you. Are you bringing in friends that are going to go along with you and then go talk about you behind your back? So really being mindful about the friends and the relationships. And it doesn't matter that, okay, this is my good girlfriend and this friend over here is like, nah, I ain't feeling her. That doesn't mean your relationship with her doesn't need to be a good one, right?
Right.
Or can't be a good one. It's just different energies that are growing each other in different ways. So it's not to say that you can't have friends that are not friends with your other friends, because you're your own individual and you need what you need, they need what they need. So being able to balance that and know that it's not a divide, it's all about you first and foremost. And you have to be able to navigate that within yourself. And doing this program of Embracing the Queen Within, we will help you begin to navigate those friendships and from your own perspective, because you know what you need. No one else knows what you need. But if you're being called to this work, we all have been there. We've all done it. And we're still doing it as we detach, just that detachment from a need to have the friends, but being open to receive those friends that do come in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, one of the things that I've loved about the friends that I've called in, this new group of sisters that I've called in, there never seems to be a time lapse. Whenever we connect, it is always electric. I like to say you can just literally feel the energy when we all connect. And these are sisters from all over the world that otherwise I would have never met. But calling them into my space and them really accepting the call was really important to me. You know, you mentioned Daisha. I remember the last time her and I sat together, she was like, sis, you are not showing up like you supposed to. Like, call me straight out on the carpet. And I truly appreciate that, because sometimes when you are a strong personality and you get surrounded by other women who don't stand up to you or don't call you out, you know, you can't really, it's hard to check yourself sometimes, because you don't have others that are willing to be like, listen, I don't like this, you ain't doing this, this what you need to be doing. We need sisters in our circle that aren't afraid to call us on the carpet when we need to be called on the carpet. And sisters who we respect and honor when they show up for us like that. You know what I'm saying? And so part of fortifying our friendships is really owning, you know, when our friends come to us with a concern, when our friends come to us voicing something that we may need to address, and really sitting with ourselves and understanding that I've chose these people in my circle. I've chose these friendships to fortify me. So if she's bringing something to me, I have to consider this. I have to sit with this for a while until I understand where my sister is coming from. And a lot of us have those fortified friendships around us, but we tend to twist our nose up and look at them sideways when they tell us something that we don't particularly want to hear about ourselves. I myself have been guilty of the same exact thing. But as I've learned in really wanting friends that help to stretch me and grow, that's going to be listening to some uncomfortable things about myself. That's going to look like having to sit with myself and address how I'm coming off or how my attitude is or what things I'm doing or not doing that's causing my situation to be the way that it is. And sometimes that level of holding up your end of the bargain with the friendship is really difficult for women to overcome. And so that's one of the things with embracing the queen within that we talk about when we get into fortifying your friendships. It's not just about looking at them. It's really about looking at how you show up within your friendships as well. I mentioned earlier, I was a person who people pleased. And so friends would say, they're stressed about something, and I was automatically ready to help them with whatever they're stressed about. And then someone told me, I can't remember who said it, but they said, you'll reduce your stress level when you stop helping people with the things that you want to help them with and start helping them with what they ask for your help with.
That
And I was
part.
like,
Oh,
whoa, wait
that
a
part.
minute, wait
That
a
part.
minute.
That's
Okay,
dropping the mic. Yes,
self
that
check, because a
self
lot of
check.
times I'm so eager to help. I'm like, okay, you said you stressed out. I can help you with this, and this, and this. And really, all they needed me to help them with was to listen so they could process. Or the only thing they needed my help with was this one area. And now I didn't sign myself up for a boatload of stuff to overwhelm myself. And so sometimes with fortifying your friendships, oftentimes, most times, it's really looking in the mirror and understanding how is this friendship a reflection of me and how I'm showing up.
That's
What things do
true.
I need to change in order to fortify this friendship and also put myself in alignment with where I desire for my life to go?
You are so on point with that. Hey to our other sacred sister Felicia. Greetings, greetings, sis. Thank you for joining us on this podcast. But yes, sis, you were hitting all the nails. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about how, yes, our sisters will come to challenge us, right? And when you are fortified in yourself, say, I being the sister that is challenging you to take a look at yourself, take a look at your situation, it's not even for me to judge it. After that, it's like, okay, whatever you want to do, sis. It's like this is your journey, and we're not going to judge you. We're not going to tell you what you should do. We may say, okay, you see this, but what you going to do? Because ultimately it is your experience. So being able to take that seat also, like you said, and step back and love them just where they are, allow them to go through it and be like, okay, so how did that work out? And no judgment. It's like, but I seen it. You said you felt it, but you gonna keep on going until you get the lesson. And I'm here to support you in that process, no matter how it looks. Right? It's not a judgment on that, sister. That's when you're fortified. That's when those relationships continue to grow, because it's like, in spite, I might see you, I be with somebody who I may not think is the right person for you or the right friend for you, but you're sitting there continuing in the relationship, finding your lesson in it. And I'm on the outside like, yes, that's good, sis. Keep on. Keep on finding it.
I'm
you
I'm
know?
glad that you said that, since I want to interject for a moment. Really, that is where the lesson for me hit the hardest. When you are that friend that is trying to fortify another friend, and you're like, look, sis, take a look at this. You really have to understand that after you express whatever it is that you express, that you want your sister to look at, to recognize, to address, you have to really kind of wash your hands with it, let go of the result. As a spiritual practitioner, a holistic health coach, I had to learn the art of letting go of the expectation. And that's really when you begin to fortify your relationships. When you can have the conversations, the hard conversation, tell the hard truths, and then let go of the attachment to the outcome, because really that's the other person's learning journey. And a lot of times we be so caught up in our friends, relationships, situationships, their life, and what they got going on. We can't even address our own issues because we so stressed or stuck on what they got going on over there. And I really, one of the things that I think has helped me to start to fortify my relationships, especially those old seasoned friendships, was divine detachment. I learned that from
Yes.
Pravi. Divine
Yes.
detachment. I had to really detach from the outcome or the result that I was seeking, because everyone's journey is their own. And some lessons are, you got to take the test a couple of times before you ace it. So if you have to take the
And
test a few times, then I'm going to honor that, and I'm going to honor you in that, and not hold on to such an attachment to the outcome of other people's lives.
and that is where, we each relationship fortifies you as well as the friend, and as the queen, I guess, if we're
Mhm.
thinking in that terms, because our lives are in review through the relationships we have. So we can see our sister going down a road that we've been through, and we are immediately triggered. It's like, oh sis, no, I've been there. Oh, but the outcome for your sister may be totally different from yours. So, because they're going to navigate it in a way that maybe you didn't have the capacity to navigate it. I was talking to another one of our sister friends, Kat, last night, and it's like, girl, your life in review, right? So you may find yourself on the outside of something your sister is sharing and going through in that moment, and it will trigger you to see, hey, it could have been a different outcome to this. For me, as I'm watching you, I can't impose on you what my outcome was, because that was my outcome. Your
Mhm.
outcome may be different, but this look real familiar, sis. This look real familiar. But that helps to fortify you, even as the person have already been come through it, because
Mhm.
there's so many different possibilities to every situation, every relationship, every situation, every struggle or task or trial or tribulation, and we each get the chance to navigate that from
Mhm.
our own path, right? And from the input of others on the outside. But we always have to stay true to what we feel we're being led to. So being able to connect with yourself first and foremost, and be able to connect with your own personal higher self is what will help you to fortify your relationships, because our relationships are only here to help support us in our growth. So being able to be open to places and people who can fortify us, who can help strengthen us from their own experiences, but how it resonates as a truth to your current experience is up to you. So we are super duper excited to be able to share this space and welcome in new friends, because new friends help us to become more fortified and more expanded in our knowledge of self, in our knowledge of the world as a whole, and to help raise the vibration ultimately of the way we show up, because we know that the lower vibrations are there. We know that you can easily get caught up in a spiral of things that do not serve you.
Mhm.
And we don't want you to get stuck there. We don't want you to get stuck in relationships, in friendships, in jobs. We want you to begin to expand beyond what you are currently experiencing, especially if it's not serving you, especially if it's leaving you feeling empty and low and in a place of isolation, because that's not where you're supposed to be. You are supposed to be fortified. You are supposed to be in a place of balance and ease and flow, and you are to position yourself in a way that you can bring in those that will help you navigate it. So that's it for today, or if you have
Yeah.
some more to share with the
You know what? Just
fortification.
just to add on, there may be some sisters out here that really don't have a circle of friends. They don't. Um, they're not able to make long lasting friendships. They've struggled with that in the past. They don't really have a circle of sisters that they can confide in. This is the space for you. We all we ask is that you come in with an open mind and an open heart, and really ready to receive the level of sisterhood that you're being invited into. This is a space where we are all learning, we are all growing. We may be at different frequencies, but the vibration remains the same. And so, as you come into the circle, even if you don't have experience with a lot of women, you'll be fortified and you'll be able to build within this circle. And so, I just wanted to really encourage those of you, especially those of you who may have had struggles in the past with friendships or maintaining long lasting friends with women, really step into the circle. This is especially for you because when we talk about fortifying friendships, we really get into how do we call in to those people that we really need to see in our lives, and not only call them in but recognize when they've arrived. And so for those of you who are out there who are interested in embracing the queen within, you guys know how to find us, how to tap in, because we start on Tuesday, so we only a few days away
A
from
few days
starting.
away. And we
We're
do still have space available, and we do not want you to miss this opportunity. So, again, as we spoke in previous podcasts, we are offering scholarships, we are offering payment plans, we are offering, what is it? Bring your sister discounts.
sister friend discounts.
Sister friend discounts. And this is an intensive work that will go through these 12 principles of holistic living, right? Of living a life that you truly want to live. But most of us don't have the tools. We don't have the support. We don't have the space. We don't have the friends around us with the knowledge or even insight to even point our compass in our north. So we want you to join us. We want you to tap in. I will definitely put the link in our comments, and we're so happy that you're here. We're so happy.
Yes.
We
You
welcome
gotta.
new friends.
Did you pull a card today? Because I feel a little
Look,
card pulling.
look, as I was opening the box. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
We
yes.
we missed it yesterday. So again, from Secrets of the Ancestor by Abiola Abrams, we have tapped into that energy, and we are going to ask that we get a confirming word from
Yes.
our higher self and God
Mm.
self of what we need to work on. Oh my God. Here we go again.
What it say? Is that the fire one?
The shadow,
Oh, the shadow.
trials and tribulations.
Come on.
So, trials and tribulations, number 18. These friendships can be very trying and tribulating. So, being able to fortify yourself in that space is what we do. It's working with our shadow self because it shows us we are seeing our divine reflection, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you want to say it. And we can deal with it. We can welcome it. We can love it. We can embrace it. And then come forth shining like a diamond, shine bright like a diamond. All right. It says, I am willing to feel and release my fears and doubt. So if
Mm.
you are having any feelings of doubt, having any feelings of fear as to what we're talking about and how we're putting this information out and how we're talking to your soul self to come into the sovereignty of
Mm-hmm.
soul sovereignty by knowing who you are. Release it,
Mm-hmm.
detach from it, and follow your insight and your knowing that you're not here by chance. You are here for a reason. You are
Divine
here for a
plan.
reason. And the ancestral medicine says the funny thing about the shadow is it always pops up. Have you done any shadow work? Well, here we are. We're
12 weeks of
offering
shadow
you
work.
we're offering you this opportunity to do some shadow work. We make it fun. It is intense, but we see you on the other side in the light. So until next time, We're sending peace and love. And we are the Soul Sisters speaking
Speaking
out.
out and fixing crowns in the process. Until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow, peace and love. Peace and love.